The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Well, I'm here.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about President Donald Trump directly confronting the governor of Maine, Janet Mills. Now, what she is not wanting to do is to enforce President Trump's executive order on men playing in women's sports. That's been the problem for a little while. You have biological men who think they're women or who identify as women who were able to play in women's sports. Boys who identify as girls are able to play in girls' sports. This is obviously unfair. If you have women's basketball and you have LeBron James or his equivalent jump in there, how can anybody deal with this man? Even if it's not as extreme as LeBron, a regular male that's somewhat athletic, some kind of basketball skills, it's just not the same. It's unfair. It's not right. It should stop. I'm glad the president is bringing some sanity back to the conversation, but you still have some holdouts, some who don't want to see this go forward, like the governor of Maine. Now, before I go any further, let's get to the actual news clip. Of course, I will link to the clip in the box if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
We need people in the country, but they have to come in legally. 2 weeks ago, I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue because you'll never win another race. And it's
seriously though, because the average person, whether they are on the left or on the right, they do not want that. They want boys to play with boys and girls to play with girls, whether the boy is LGBT, whether the girl is LGBT, whether the man, it doesn't matter. Let's let the biological males play with biological males and vice versa.
Just crazy. If you look at what happened with the boxing, if you look at what happened with the weightlifting numbers, where a record that hadn't been broken for 19 years got shattered. But, they put up an eighth of an ounce here, an eighth of an ounce there, and it's 218 pounds or whatever, a lot. And hadn't been broken in 19 years. And then guy walks up who transitioned. He transitioned, and he knocked out that record by about 100 pounds. That will be a record not going to be broken again.
It's impossible. The only way it can be broken again is if another man breaks it, which is why, or one reason why you have men's sports and women's sports. It's separate for a reason.
So we put a ban on it, and to protect women. I mean, the women, if you watch the Olympics, you had two transitioned people that were fighting in the women's boxing. They have women's boxing category. And if you saw that, it was brutal. What happened to the Italian woman was a really good boxer. After one punch, she said, no more. I've never.
Yeah, I covered that. And that was, what was that? Amani or Amin Khalif. Now, they were trying to go back and forth talking about, that is a woman ABL. No. Listen, if you have XY chromosomes, you are not a woman, period. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care what you thought you were when you were a child. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whose fault it is, any kind of mix up. At the end of the day, XX is XX and XY is XY, and that's it. And a little bit of a brief science lesson for you guys who might not know. I know all y'all know, but if you don't, if you have XX chromosomes, that means you're female. If you have XY chromosomes, that means you're male. That's it. ABL, what about intersex? Please stop. We all know what this is, but I digress.
It was a left. It was not even it was just a left jab. She got hit so hard, she said, I can't do it. They forced her to go out. No, go out again. You'll do it. Goes out again, gets hit again. No, that's it. She didn't want to die. And it's crazy, but the NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Well, I'm here.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect.
So there we go. Again, I'll link to this full clip in the box, but that is our president, Donald J. Trump, confronting the governor of Maine, a Democrat, of course, Janet Mills, because she's not wanting to enforce the executive order, keeping men out of women's sports and keeping boys out of girls' sports. But you know, I don't even understand why anybody would support such a thing. I don't understand why anybody would say, okay, this person now identifies as female. They can go compete against the women. How does this make any sense? Like, it's not logical. It's not scientific. The sports are divided by gender for a reason, not just because, it's an actual biological reason because men are going to be bigger, stronger. We're going to have physical advantages over women that cannot be made up in any kind of way. Look, if you have two optimally trained athletes, one male, one female, the male will always be bigger, stronger than the female. Not necessarily bigger, but you understand what I'm saying. Let's say a woman is 5'8" and a man is 5'8". If they both train to maximum capabilities, the man will always dominate the woman. Always. It's unfair. It's not right. I think we should have women compete against women and men compete against men. Now, what someone does in their own spare time, however they identify, that's their business. Let's say there's a boxer, a male boxer. He likes to put on dresses and things of this nature when he's not in the ring. So what? At the end of the day, he's still a male. He's still a male. Maybe his opponent can joke on him for wearing the dresses and the high heels like Oscar De La Hoya did, allegedly. Okay, maybe he could joke about that, but so what? He's still a male. Oscar De La Hoya and his pantyhose and high heels cannot go and fight. Do you understand what would happen if Oscar De La Hoya fought a woman? It would be, you would have to call the police. It would be just domestic violence. That's all that it would be. Even if it was a trained woman, a trained female fighter, it would be domestic violence. You would not want to see that. You would turn the TV completely off if you saw Oscar De La Hoya in the ring fighting a woman. One punch, all of that right there, the whole frontal lobe, and all of that is going to be kaput. If you got Oscar in there with a woman or a Floyd Mayweather or any of these male fighters, same thing with the male basketball players, it's just not right. And then if you allow men and women's sports, you must also allow them in women's locker rooms and private areas. And, there's plenty of ne'er-do-wells, criminals, basically the scum of society. There's plenty of these men who will use this so-called loophole, the transgender bathroom loophole. They will use that to their advantage to go victimize women and victimize girls. It's not just a slippery slope theory that has not come to fruition. We've seen case after case after case of that very same thing happening. So, look, I support what Trump is doing. This is just common sense. It's not about being the bigot. Hey, you want to be LGBT in any kind of way, just regular, a gay person, a bull dagger, a transformer, whatever you want to do is on you. But when you infringe upon the rights of others, that's where I draw the line. Do what you want to do to privacy of your own home in public or whatever. If you got consenting people doing things together, that's their business. But don't include me in that. Don't include others in that who did not volunteer to be part of your game. This includes having men and women's sports, because that's what it's really about. As I close, that's what it's really about. It's not really about the women going to men's sports. It's about the men going to women's sports because they know they can dominate. They know that the women cannot compete at a higher level. A male will rank like almost dead last among his peers, but go over to the women with the same level of conditioning and skill and go toward the top because of the biological advantage he has. He's taking advantage of it. It's not fair. It's not right. And I'm glad that Trump put an end to it. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about Trump confronting the governor of Maine? Was it too much? Just enough? And to speak on that, that was not too much. That was 100% appropriate. He did not raise his voice, use any profanity. It was a respectful confrontation. Like, hey, this is what we're doing. You got to comply with the order. You're breaking the law. I don't see anything wrong with that. I appreciate the direct communication, direct confrontation. That's better than the previous guy. This guy couldn't even put two words together. He didn't even know what day it was or nothing. At least we have someone in there that communicates, even if you don't like what he's saying. But whatever your thoughts are that on, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I liked that a lot. Hey, I like it. I love it. I want more of it. Shout out Tim McGraw. 100%. That is a leader. I don't care what color he is, black, white, Puerto Rican, the candy stripe. Because some are going to say, oh, you just love him because he's white. First of all, he's orange. Okay. Now, just because he's orange doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, I judge you based on you. What do you do? Because the guy before him was white as snow, white as a Christmas day, white as top of Mount Everest. Okay. But he was completely terrible. And the orange guy or white guy or a black guy or whoever who's doing what Trump is doing, I praise for doing a good job, not their skin color. Does that make sense? But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.